You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, Charge Hayner present Zoom the TBT, and tonight we have Team AboutBillions. We got a handful of guards right here: Tyonte, Robertson, and Andre Yates. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Appreciate you for having us.
Appreciate you coming on. Okay, so Tyonte, let's talk about this a little bit here. So, what is the AboutBillions brand? Help me out here.
So AboutBillions really stands for, a lot of different things. If you watch any of Adrian interviews, of course, Adrian Broner, AboutBillions, it's pretty much, it pretty much just stands for the symbol of AB. You know what I mean? If you watch Adrian in his early years, his first camp name was the band camp, and eventually certain guys went their own direction, but still stayed apart. And I want to say that AboutBillions came just with how can I put this? I want to say it came about just with his creativeness. You know what I mean? With his initial being AB, you know what I mean? And I think the AboutBillions and his initials I think it just stood out. You know what I mean? It was catchy. And AboutBillions promotion is the original concept. You know what I mean? It's the original thing, and it's still going on because AboutBillions promotion is really a boxing thing. You know what I mean? It's a boxing promotion. So with him being so close and me being a basketball player, in which he likes basketball too, of course I'm a part of the brand. I just came up with the AboutBillions basketball. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a great brand to have in TBT, which is makes it surprising you guys are as low as an 8 seed. Andre, how much disrespect is it you guys being an 8 seed? First of all.
Yeah, man. Disrespect is a strong word. I think we definitely we definitely felt some ill will towards the 8 seed. And like I said, me and Tyonte, I know personally, I've been knowing him since our high school years, but when he called me and reached out about doing this thing with him, we've been having our boots on the ground. We got denied. We got the door, shut on us right when we thought we was getting in. So we kind of been through, the wins and the losses with trying to be a TBT team and trying to put, a good brand of basketball out there. So getting the 8 seed, we did our due diligence. We looked up the rosters. We saw who was out there in our region. And we definitely feel like we're way better than an 8 seed, you know what I mean? But the thing about TBT, the sweetest thing is we get the opportunity to go out there and prove it, you know what I mean? So, we can't overlook, we can't look 3-4 games down the line. We got one game to come out there on the 19th and do what we have to do to move on. It's survive and advance. At the end of the day, everybody gets in this thing because they feel like they can win that money. You know what I mean? They feel like
Absolutely.
they feel like they put the best team together, and they're ultra confident. And we're the same way. We feel like the group of guys that we got, they represent not only the brand, but they represent the brand of basketball that we all want to play. So they gave us the 8 seed, but at the end of the day, we in this thing and we in here, to win just like everybody else. It's no difference from the 1 seed to an 8 seed at this point. We got invited to the party and we ready to make it happen.
Getting invited to the party is the only way you can get into the party and win some games. Tyonte, so how'd this team come together? Like, are you guys mostly Cincy guys, if not all?
Like Dre told you, I've been knowing him since 10 plus years now, maybe 15. He's right up the road in Dayton, so which is 45 minutes from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody else is not from Ohio that's on my roster. I think me and Dre are the only two from Ohio. I'm pretty cool with Josh. So I reached out to him, and I had a talk with him a few months back. I reached out to him about playing with me. And of course, basically, I made it happen or whatever. And some of the guys have played with him in TBT before. So those guys that played with him, he brought on. He asked if they want to play with me, and he brought them on, and so forth. And then there was a few other guys that I knew personally myself that I reached out to, and they stood by my side with the beating that we took, the horrendous loss we took in first year. And
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was kind of a rough patch with actually recruiting certain guys with that being on our resume. You know what I mean? But I had some guys that were loyal, and they being a basketball player, like Dre said, you got your wins and losses. You know what I mean? And me, I come from an underdog thing. You know what I mean? Coming up, I was ranked in the state, nationally, and things of that nature, and I played against the best. But you got your wins and losses with this. You know what I mean? So like I said, there was some guys that was loyal, and they stood by my side, like Andre Yates here, and another guy that was on that roster 2 years ago that said he wanted to get his get back. You know what I mean? So he stood by me and didn't let that horrendous loss affect anything. And I think the other guys that are new to the roster, I'm sure they know the history of what happened. And like they said, they were down with me. I feel like they bought in. I actually feel very confident about this roster that's put together. And I think we're going to shock the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that you guys have the right sort of brand behind you, because when Broner's like, anybody can get it, I'm the can man, anybody can get it. That's a perfect mindset for you guys to have. Okay, Andre, it's you, it's Tyonte, and it's Josh Selby. That's a pretty good three-guard lineup. Like, how you guys going to attack with that sort of like three-headed monster in the backcourt?
I mean,
Go ahead,
you got it, you got it, T.
Okay. I feel like all three guards are talented. You know what I mean? And I just feel like whoever got the high hand that night, in game one, I just feel like we're gonna run an offense through them. You know what I mean? Defensively, I feel like we are toughened. You know what I mean? And all three guys are experienced too, and that plays a big part. So I just feel like whoever got the high hand that night, we're gonna feed them the ball, and let the offense flow through them.
Yeah, that's definitely, you gotta just respect whoever's got that night and get them the ball and make everybody a weapon. Andre, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this roster, Andre. It's a really solid roster. And one thing in TBT, especially for teams that aren't the top seeds, is often they lack size. I see a lot of qualified size on this team. You got Watkins at 6'10". You've got Manigault at 6'10". You've got a couple 7-footers. You got some real size on this team. As a guard, does it help knowing you have some big guys that kind of clean up some of the mess and help your attacking vision for the team?
Definitely. I mean, one thing he said, like defensively, I think we are kind of those guys that we want to put a lot of pressure on the ball. You know what I mean? And playing in TBT, it's a lot of high level guards, and with us putting all that pressure on the ball, you want to make sure that there's rim protectors down there in case a guy gets beat, in case help is late. You know what I mean? So I think, Tyonte being our GM, he made sure he checked off everything we needed. You know what I mean? So with that size down there, I think they'll help us not only on the defensive end in a major way, but a lot of those guys are lob threats. You know what I mean? So a lot of our ball screen actions, we'll definitely be looking to get those guys, easy looks right at the rim. You know what I mean? And in the game of basketball, size, man, size is it beats all. You know what I mean? Like we just talked about a little bit before this.
Can't teach height.
Yeah, we just talked about it a little bit before this. You know what I mean? Being a sub 6'5" guard that can score the ball, is kind of it's kind of becoming instinct. So, you know, when you got that size on your side and you can show that you can feed the big guys and feed the wings and keep everybody involved, that only translates to more enthusiasm and more energy on defense. So, you know, having those size and having gritty guards that want to defend and want to grind these games out to get these wins. I love the squad that Tyonte put together, and like I said, man, we just ready to get out there and show what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's a lot of balance to this region. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the one thing I love about this region, looking at it, is you guys have some pretty interesting things you can play with, because last year's sort of debutante, the India Rising, now the Brown Ballers is there. Dream
Right.
34 won a shot game. So there's a lot of like different people in this region who could actually shock into a win. So
Right.
Tyonte, talking a little bit about your future opponents in Nasty Natty, facing off against a team that kind of quality who made a deep run in TBT last year. Like, I mean, you're playing guys like you're playing Octavius Ellis, you're playing Cumberland, you're playing guys like DeBerry, Jacob Evans, who can fly. What's up, Tyonte?
No, just following up with the names that you were mentioning. I know those guys personally. You know what I mean? Real quick catch you don't know, Kevin Johnson, which is the GM for them, used to be one of their shooting guard back in our college days. That's my brother. That's my god brother. You know what I mean? So we're very, very close. I actually was recruited by Mick Cronin. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. I know Mick Cronin, yeah.
Yeah, I was recruited.
I'm gonna have a haircut like Mick Cronin. I'm gonna have a haircut like Mick Cronin soon. It's starting to fall out, you know.
So I know a lot of those guys personally. I've been in personal, practices. I've been on campus with them a lot. You know what I mean? So I know these guys personally. So I think it's gonna be a hard, grind out, gritty game. You know what I mean? Because I think the matchups are set perfect. You know what I mean? And I just think that night, the best team will win.
Absolutely. Andre, looking at this also, Mike Pilgrim's a pretty good coach. What kind of an aspect do you think he adds to the coaching staff?
I mean, I think with Mike Pilgrim's, like, first of all, his history as a player, being a high-level player, being a guy that's played at the highest level, he knows what it takes in these certain situations. I think when you have guys that the hardest thing, he's a high school coach, but being a guy that's coaching professional players and dealing with, this guy might have this attitude, this guy has that attitude. I think Mike is somebody that we all can look at and have that respect for who he is as a person. You know what I mean? So that he can come in and govern us in a way to where we can come in and have one goal and we all be on the same page and not be out for self or not be out for anything other than what our goal is. And it's to be the ones, hitting that button and getting that direct deposit, you know what I'm saying, after the championship game. I mean, that's what it's about, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So, I was thrilled to hear that Mike will be coaching us, this year. I'm excited to get in camp and get to working with him and figure out, how we put all these pieces together, you know what I mean, to form this puzzle, this winning puzzle, I should say, you know what I mean. So we definitely excited to have Mike on board with us.
Definitely. Now, Tyonte, you have, I always like to highlight the Memphis guys, and you've got Rainier Thornton on your team. So talk to me about what kind of a level an inside-out power forward like Rainier can give you.
I had talked to Rainier, and because I met him through Josh Selby, Josh had told me a little bit about Rainier, so I wanted to get an intake myself from him. So when I talked to Rainier, I just got I haven't met him personally yet, but we talked over the phone, and I watched some film on him, and he looked very good out there. But one thing that really I took in, you know what I'm saying, or what we had talked about, is when I asked him, I said, what position do you play? You know what I'm saying? What is your primary position? And he told me whatever the team needed me to do. So when he told me that, I'm like, oh shit, he's already bought in from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So whatever role he's given, he's gonna be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? So just with all the weapons we got around, me personally, I am very big on Rainier Thornton, and I told Andre about him. You know what I'm saying? So whatever best fits the team, and whatever ends up being his role, I just know he's going to be the best at it, and I know he's going to give it 110%.
Yeah, having a bunch of guys who are really, really solid on your team really helps you sort of move the ball a bit. Okay, Andre, so let's talk about your opponents real quick. So first of all, it's not so much the 8th seed because that's fine, but I mean, you get the road game. You're actually playing the host.
Right.
How satisfying would it be to shut up 8,000 people?
I mean, as a pro, you know, I road games have always been my favorite. You know, not just as a pro in college. It's just something about just going in there and executing our game plan and completely just like you said, silencing, you know, the crowd that's there to cheer on the home team. You know what I mean? But like T said, we know we pretty much know a lot of these guys personally, so we know that it's not going to be easy. We know how they feel about being able to play in front of the, you know, the fans that rooted them on for a lot of successful years at UC. You know what I mean? It's a big time ball club we going into battle with. So we definitely understand that. We respect those guys. But at the end of the day, you know, man, you get to a certain level and the noise is the noise. You know what I mean? We got to take care of business on the floor. You know what I mean? One thing about them UC guys, the fans might be loud, but it what they say won't be a half as bad as what them guys gonna be saying to us. So we ready to go in the battle and you know put our bootstraps on and go to work.
Yeah. Man, I hate Cincinnati. As a Memphis fan, I've always hated Cincinnati. I hope the Bearcats just get their ass. I hope you guys kick the crap out of them. I really just the only reason I'm not putting a bounty on Cincy's head is I hate Louisville just a little bit more, and they got the bounty this year, so that's the bounty team this year.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
Teonte, help me out a little bit.
the region is very competitive. The region is very competitive, like you said, man.
Man, man, every time the Bearcats lose, an angel gets its wings. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's the way it is. But okay, so Teonte, let's start make some moves here. So you played in the TBL this last year. How was that?
TBL, I could say it was like I played 3 games in it. It was pretty competitive for the weekend that I did play in it. And I actually played against some guys that I formerly knew, which are from Toledo, Ohio. And then guys that were from New York. It was, you know, when I played in it was pretty good. It was competitive, like I said. But I only played 3 games, so I didn't really get into a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? To really get the full experience. But from what I've known, the league has picked up, and a lot of guys that have played overseas, even some G League players that I forgot to mention, that are playing inside the TBL league now. You know what I'm saying? So it is rising. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for the 3 games that I did play in it was pretty decent.
Okay. And Andre, you actually, we were talking about this a little bit before we got show on, as you played in Portugal, and I've actually been to Portugal. I think it's a beautiful country. So I'm like, oh, where'd you play? You play in Lisbon, you played in Porto, and you did not. Where did you play in Portugal?
So I spent my first year in the Azores, middle of the Atlantic Ocean, on an island about a 2-hour flight off of the mainland, and I spent my second year there actually in Lisbon. So it was kind of like a night and day experience actually. If I had to choose, you know what I mean, Lisbon is like, man, Lisbon is one of those cities, man, where I definitely would say, you know, go there before this thing is all said and done. I feel like everybody should go visit Lisbon,
Beautiful
man.
City.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful city.
You know, vibrant city. They love their sports, man. Like if you go to a Benfica or sporting game, whether it's soccer, whether it's basketball, you're gonna see diehard, passionate fans. You know, it's not out of the norm for them to stop a game 2 minutes into the first quarter because it's flares shooting all over the place. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's wild.
They pack it out over there, and they support the guys over there. You know what I mean? If you're a professional player in Lisbon, you're somebody. You know what I mean? And that whole experience that I had in Portugal, man, like I would go back in a heartbeat. I love that country. I was a year away from being able to get my dual citizenship, something that I'm thinking about exploring. You know what I mean? In the future, but. And I really have nothing bad to say about Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal was one of my favorite trips I've taken in the last 20 years. Okay, Teonte, really quickly, we're kind of running out of time here, so let's get into one last thing. TBT gets more expensive every year. Who do you want to thank financially that's been helping this team become a reality?
Quiet as kept. Myself. I want to give myself a pat on the back. Andre knows this. No, this is serious.
Real.
Jake and Luke knows this. I've been coming out of pocket this year. You know what I'm saying? It's been pretty tough trying to get more sponsors and stuff with the history from the 2 years ago. So I talked to a few people, but no coins came in. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back this year because I sponsored this whole thing myself this year.
Well, there you go. That's an interesting. That's the best answer I've gotten. So the sponsors you. So thank yourself. I'm fine with that. That makes sense. So congratulations to you. You should thank yourself. So you should definitely should do that. Andre, we're running out of time. I got one more question for you guys before I get you guys out of here. Okay. And it's look, this event is the premier basketball event of the summer. But one, if you're a neutral and you haven't heard TBT, why do you have to watch TBT? And two, why do you have to root for Team AboutBillions? It is your last question, so empty the tank.
So the first question, why should you watch TBT? Like I said, I believe that this is probably this is the time where you'll get, I don't know if OTE is back in it, but you'll have the young kids that's coming up, with the OTE team. I'm a Creighton alum, but watching them play against some of my former teammates was kind of crazy to see. A lot of those guys are playing in the league now. You know what I mean? You got ex-NBA guys, and then with the broad net of what European basketball and just overseas basketball is, this is really the only tournament where you actually can see like who's the guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you play. Well, it matters as far as selling the tickets, but as a player, you know what I mean? I call those wolf tickets. You know what I mean? As a player, that doesn't matter when you get out there on the floor, where you play at, what his resume is, because, guys like us, we don't care nothing about that. You know what I mean? Because we got to settle it in the line. So I feel like this is a big time opportunity for somebody that's a basketball head that loves the game to be able to see all the players that they might have, seen coming up. You know what I mean? As far as Team AboutBillions, if you love a team that's a defensive first team, a team that's going to play together, and a team that's going to play with passion. You know what I mean? Our GM, the guy that's running this thing, just let you know, he footed the bill himself. You know what I mean? As a guy that agreed to come on this roster, you know what I mean? I respect him for that, for giving the rest of us even giving us this opportunity to play in this. You know what I mean? So we definitely going to go out there and lay it all out there on the line for, not just ourselves, but, him as well.
I love that answer. It's a great answer. And hopefully you guys can recoup that money by winning 6 games. Teonte Robertson, Andre Yates, gentlemen, AboutBillions, thanks for coming on tonight.
No problem. Appreciate you, man.
Hope you enjoyed listening to ZoomTheTBT with Charge and Hater. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.